7 at the helm of the Hatters. So game number 475 on one bench, game number 3 for the first-year head coach Jay Lucas, and we are underway in South Florida. Miami starts with the basketball. Change in the starting lineup. Tre Donaldson, the senior guard, not in the lineup to start. Instead, it's Timo Milovic, the freshman from Slovakia. We are told Donaldson was a game-time decision. While he's not starting, he is available to come off the bench tonight.
And this is the type of game, too, for Milovic. He can come in, freshman, 6'8", get off the ball a little bit. The advantage of having one of those five-star freshmen and Shelton Henderson playing point guard for you. This is a big lineup here. Can the Hatters rebound? Yeah,
Henderson at 6'6", handling the ball, and he turns it over on the opening possession. This is a Stetson team that made the bus trip 4.5 miles down south. You look at their starting five. Preseason A-Sun Player of the Year, Phillips, number 0, lost the handle there. And Miami turns it over back-to-back possessions. Gives the ball right back to the Hatters. And you expect Stetson to slow it down and really grind this clock against a Miami team that wants to run.
Yeah, you can see Miami's trying to push the pace here early. But the Hatters got to control tempo and pace. They got to control the tempo, the timing, no quick shots unless they're open. Got to take open shots. Shot selection is going to be so big for these guys.
You don't want to get into a track beat with Miami. They have averaged 94 points per game through their opening 2. Stetson letting this shot clock tick down to 5 now. Sermon's off the screen, pull up, pop, off the mark. This is what Miami likes to do. Play with tempo, get a miss, try and immediately cash in on the other end. Swatted out of bounds. It'll stay Canes basketball underneath their own hoop.
Miami wants to get into the paint, either off the dribble or post up. They're trying to control the lane. I think one thing early we'll find out, and you'll see throughout the year for this team, is how well they shoot the basketball from 3 will dictate how long this team goes into March playing basketball.
And another turnover, 3 of them early in the opening 90 seconds for Miami. A team that was in great flow offensively. Quick shot for Stetson, goes begging. Both of these teams looking for an offensive rhythm early.
We're already seeing Miami without their true leader, and Tre Donaldson not being in the starting lineup. You'll see things change significantly when he gets in.
And another turnover. Credit Stetson. They are dialed in on the defensive end to start this game.
They're going to pack in that zone. They're not going to sit in the zone. They're going to try to keep everything in front.
And it's Matar Jope who opens the scoring with a triple.
Jope with his first 3 on the season.
Yeah, that was not on the scouting report.
No, it's not at all. But games like this, you got to let it hang out. They're not saving anything. They know they're outgunned. They're coming to compete.
At Miami, the size advantage. They attack inside to no avail. And Stetson steps on the end line out of bounds. You take a look at these two teams, and just Miami has a huge size advantage, but they're struggling to convert.
Great job by Miami. They want to get the ball there in the middle of that zone against Reneau. With Reneau, and let him be a playmaker. He had 5 assists in the last game, even though he had a turnover there. But they're going to pack it in and force Miami to make shots.
That rolls off the rim, no good from Henderson.
Magic number from the 3-point line for Stetson is about 15 to 16 threes. They already have 1.
Make it 2. What a start for the Hatters. And first-year head coach Jay Lucas says, give me a timeout. Ethan Copeland makes it 6-0. Starting lineup. It was a surprise to us. He looked good at shoot-around, but game-time decision. They say he is available. You see him there in uniform, but they are struggling without him on the floor in the opening 3 minutes.
I think Jay Lucas wanted to get a feel for what his team will look like without Tre Donaldson. I don't think he's pleased with that. 4 turnovers here early.
Going back door, and Miami gets their first bucket through True Washington.
That's Malik Reneau in a high post again, being a playmaker. Really, he's adopted a larger role for this group. He's playing like a first-team All-ACC guy right now. And can he continue that when they get in the league play?
Copeland, good find, falls to Jope. He goes up with it through contact and draws the foul.
Spacing's really good with the Hatters. They're driving into the paint. They're driving the pass. Here, Reneau there with the vision on the backdoor cut. I mean, they'll flash him in the middle and just play. A lot of playmakers with the Miami Hurricanes lineup, and without their true leader right now, everyone needs to have all hands on deck.
Well, you have to give a lot of credit to Stetson in the early moments of this game as Donaldson checks in, his team trailing 6-2. They are huge underdogs tonight. Talent-wise, you said it, they are outgunned, but they are not playing like it. They've come in with confidence.
Donnie Jones is well coached. He's well traveled. And again, they have an all-league guy themselves. Jamie Phillips Jr. here is averaging 21 a game, and he's a matchup nightmare. He's the one player physically that can match up against the Hurricanes.
Yeah, because you look at position by position, and Miami has just so much positional size, a few inches at every position, but also just built so broad.
Yes.
And Jay Lucas was telling us that's done by design, not just in non-conference play, but in ACC play. To win games in conference, you've got to be strong and physical and have positional size, not just at your big man spots, but at the guard spots as well.
And we talked about that too. That's what Duke did a year ago, I think, to the league. And I think you've seen this year, a lot of the teams in the league have emulated that. That just positional size. You know, it's like we're transitioning out of the small ball era and back to a traditional 4 and 5.
Floater does not fall. Offensive rebound. That rolls off the rim, and finally Henderson tips it in. Third time's the charm.
That's the way. That's the best offense sometimes for this Miami group. They're not a great shooting team. Some nights their best offense is going to be throw it up on the rim and go get it. And that's what you saw there in that possession.
And a team that would much prefer to run on you than get into this half-court game that Stetson has forced them to play in the opening 4.5 minutes. Here's Donaldson spinning into the lane, wave off the basket. He traveled before he put it up. 5 Miami turnovers. The first was kind of his niche name of the game, and trying to do that at Miami in year number 1. Off to a good start so far this season, although getting tested early by Stetson. The turnovers have been an issue. Now Miami gets a turnover of their own, and they cash in through True Washington.
Jay Lucas has a way of being demanding but not demeaning his players, and these guys respond to that. And as we talked about how he wants to build his team, getting after you defensively, that's what they want. Everyone gets the ball. They want difficult catches up into the basketball. More importantly, one shot and rebound.
Stetson answers with a 3. That's Calvin Sermons the third, Florida native, and Stetson's knocked down 3 triples in the opening 5 minutes.
Miami's look sped up and too aggressive on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they're really aggressive, just unnecessarily gambling. Giving up 3 threes here, just like Tre Donaldson there, just a drive-by there.
Stetson goes into the post. They don't want to live there much of this game. And kick it outside now. Phillips, all-league player, into the lane, draws contact, and will get 2 at the line.
Phillips is the guy. He's versatile. He's the one guy that physicality will not bother him. He actually embraces it. He's looking for contact there as he initiates it and gets to the free throw line. His ability to play in ball screens is one thing, but it'll also get in the post when the offense gets stagnant for the Hatters. Really slow start for Miami.
It is, and it's surprising considering this is a team that's been averaging more than 90 points per game under Jay Lucas. You know, they just had 6 turnovers the entire game in a 40-point win against Bethune-Cookman, a team in Bethune-Cookman that took Auburn to overtime earlier in the week. So that's a good basketball team. They beat them by 40. Big part is they took care of the basketball. Only 6 turnovers. They already have 5 tonight.
You can tell they're trying to beat the zone down before they set up. Before Stetson sets up their zone, they're trying to beat it down the floor. They're playing so much faster than they need to. Just settle down. I think some of that had to do with Tre Donaldson not in the starting lineup. Let's see if now he can settle down and then settle down to you.
Donaldson out there, has it here, flies to the rim, count it, plus the foul. And one opportunity for Tre Donaldson.
He's the guy. They have a closer, you know, and now he's a pass first guy, but definitely put this team on his back when they need to there. Drives the baseline of the zone, initiates the contact, goes to the line here for an opportunity to and one. He's the leader of this group.
You said right before tip-off, this starting five for Miami can go toe-to-toe with any starting five in the ACC. Well, you said that, and then Miami tips the game off. They don't have Donaldson out there, and you could see they were affected by it.
And that's not on any one person, but he's the emotional leader of this group, and a guy with his level of experience, you want him out there to start games. And they just didn't respond well to start here tonight. But you can see now they're back, they're defending, they're communicating.
Sermons with 3 seconds to shoot. Step back contested three. Johnson can't connect. Donaldson pushing the tempo. Trail three. No good. A fresh 20 for Miami.
That last defensive possession is what Jay Lucas wants his team to play like.
Dante Allen lines up a three. Miami's just getting good looks, but they can't knock him down.
This isn't abnormal to this group. They're not a great three-point shooting team. They have to take the open threes when they're there. They're 0 for 4 here to start. And when you look at this group, that's the one concern you have with Miami. If they're making threes, they can beat anybody. But this is not, as a collective group, they're not a great shooting three. Their team is built to control the paint on both ends of the floor.
Pull-up pop off the front rim, falls right back to Jamie Phillips. Kick out three, almost banked in from Johnson, but put too much on it. Donaldson in attack mode, right to the rim for two.
That's what you want to see. There's not a shot blocker on the floor right now. So no need to settle for threes. You've missed 4 of them. Tre Donaldson was experienced, just attacks the rim.
Wide open look. And Janusz Ratovsky, the Texas A&M transfer, makes Miami pay.
Magic number Coach Jones said was 15 to 16 threes.
Now they already got 4.
And they've gotten 4, and it's why they're leading this ball game right now.
Miami's still looking for their first made 3. Good pass, everything but the finish. Marcus Allen tried to go one-handed to no avail. Transition 3. And it bounces in. It's good. Alex Doyle reins in another. Stetson's knocked down 5 threes. And they're back up by 6.
It's a lot of good shooters for the Hatters, and right now, Miami's inability to knock down a shot is creating problems because Stetson is getting in the paint. They're forcing rotation, and they're finding their three-point shooters.
And they're playing with confidence on the road on a Monday night. Unafraid of a Miami team that had 2 dominant victories to start this season. Coming off a 40-point win, this one's going to be harder earned tonight. Shot clock down to 2. Sermons has to hoist it up. Nothing but air. And that's a turnover. Shot clock violation. Miami trailing by 6. The Stetson three-point shooting the story.
That's the key to it early. They've spread the wealth around, knocking down 4 threes here in the first half. We've got ourselves a game, folks.
Took Auburn to overtime, and the turnovers have piled up early in this game, and they're down 6.
It looked sped up early, and they knew they were playing against the zone. They looked like they tried to race the ball up the floor and beat the zone, and this is what they want to do.
They go right inside. Reneau hammered it home, plus the foul.
I think the officials are talking about this, the screen there. Uday was pulled and thrown out of the way.
So no basket. The foul was on the floor before Reneau went up with it. So Miami gets the ball underneath their own hoop. You mentioned Miami being sped up. What is Stetson doing to take Miami out of their rhythm in the half court? There's the foul there.
The foul was on Uday and not Reneau. But yeah, they're packing in the zone. They know Miami wants to control. That's what Miami wants to do with the basketball. Get it right there at the rim.
Second effort. This time it'll count for Malik Reneau.
Job did a great job there blocking the first shot, but Reneau is really embracing this role as the #1 option. And that's a new role for him. And he's answered the challenge, averaging nearly a double-double. Just 9 rebounds a game, but also 20 points a game.
Good
21.
defense, the steal, and the slam. Dante Allen on a rack attack.
Dante Allen's one of the freshmen that doesn't get talked about enough, but his versatility, ability to play point, as you see here, pressure the basketball. Tre Lucas is really high on him, and he's showing you why.
The defensive intensity has ratcheted it up a notch. Shot clock down to 3. Johnson has to heave, and he draws the foul. Donaldson whistled for the foul with Jake Johnson going up with it right at the end of the shot clock.
You see here, the reject and the pull-up made him take a very difficult shot. Just didn't allow him time to come down, and there's a little contact there. I know Miami staff doesn't like it. It was right in front of their bench, but it was the right ball.
Well, Johnson gets 3 at the line here. Every time Miami gets a big play, like a steal and a slam from Dante Allen, feels like Stetson has answered and remained in the driver's seat of this first half.
And they have. They've knocked down shots. They got 5 threes, and they're getting points off of another 3-point shot, just getting fouled. So right now, they've gotten the confidence they need. They're going to pack it in. Their game plan, they feel good about. Keep everything in front, and it's got to continue to take threes and make shots. Can they handle the pressure from Miami and get a really good shot against that pressure?
This is a position Miami has not found themselves in this season. A new team coming together, a lot of transfers and freshmen, and against Jacksonville and Bethune-Cookman, really from tip-off, they were in control. Now trying to come from behind. They keep going to Reneau, and he keeps delivering.
Yeah, he's flashing underneath the baseline. They game plan, and they want the guards to deny that, but he puts his head underneath the rim, and he flashes so deep the guard can't get there, and that's just too easy.
Sermon spins into the lane at 5'8", got it up over but couldn't finish. Henderson with a head of steam. Lost possession, it'll stay Miami basketball.
And as bad as Miami has played to start this game with the turnovers, missed threes, this is a one-possession game. They're starting to settle down. They want to get stops and then get out in transition. Henderson unable that time just to put it in.
Reneau, he's been in attack mode. Scored the last 2 baskets for Miami. Here he is again. Right to the rim. Slams it home through contact. And a chance to tie this game at 20 with the and 1.
Constantly in attack mode there. If he gets it, Dole thinks he has help at the rim. Job's preoccupied with Uday. No one's there. And Malik Reneau says, thank you, I'll take that. It doesn't matter whether he's in zone or man-to-man. He's just on a heater right now. And he's playing with so much confidence. And he's showing Coach Lucas he made the right decision by making him the primary option here. His recruiting class and #1 option on the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah, gets to return home to Miami after 3 years at Indiana. Miami, that defensive intensity creates another turnover. Reneau for the lead. Got it! Timeout Stetson, first lead of the night.
I have to make. Just take the open ones that are there. Continue to put pressure, draw fouls. Extend the game with their full court pressures they're doing now. This is the style of play the Hurricanes wants to play. Just a tough physical game. Disruptive.
And it feels like the increase in defensive intensity has led to a burst on the offensive end.
It's the way they have to score. This isn't a great shooting team. They got to do a better job communicating here.
Stetson out of the timeout, got a good look. Ethan Copeland couldn't knock it down. The hot hand, Reneau thought about it. And said Donaldson finds Washington in the corner. Nothing but the bottom of the net.
True Washington's been shooting over 50% from behind the arc. And he's a guy, if he can continue that hot hand, with the pressure on the rim, the other guys are applying.
Miami on an 11-0 run over the last 2 minutes to grab control of this first half. And they force another miss.
They're doing a great job of guarding their yard, meaning they're not rotating over. They're just telling guys, you just guard your man one-on-one, stay between he and the basket so we can get out and run.
Tough take inside the 5-star freshman Shelton Henderson.
He is a load. I mean, he's as big as any player that the Hatters have on their roster, and he's a starting 3 for the Canes and de facto backup point guard as well.
Stetson's gone 3 minutes without a basket, and that streak will continue. Miami with all the momentum right now. Right to the rim, that's a goaltend. Count it for Tre Donaldson. Hurricanes nearly 10 minutes to score their first 15 points. They've scored the last 15 on this 15-0 run in a little more than 3 minutes.
They stopped turning the basketball over one, and then now they got back into their identity of playing defense now.
Stetson made the threes early. Now they're starting to turn the basketball over thanks to the defensive intensity from Miami. Phillips was saying that didn't go off me last, but the officials say it did.
Yeah, Miami's doing a great job. They're getting into the basketball, speeding the Hatters up right now, and they're struggling on the offensive end of the floor, and their inability to make shots now, particularly in the paint. They don't have a two-point shot. They have 5 threes. That makes up all their field goals. And they are struggling right now against the pressure from Miami. This is the way Miami wants to play.
Stetson in a 3.5-minute scoring drought. It's allowed Miami to gain control here. Now, Miami struggled for the opening 10 minutes of this game, but it doesn't reflect on the scoreboard because this Canes team, they can score in bunches, and that is what they have done. Good defense again. Not much room for Copeland. Has to kick it out. Shot clock down to 7. Deep contested 3 and a foul. Well, the freshman from Turkey, Salih Altuntas, calls for the foul. He can't believe it.
Yeah, Tuntas didn't communicate on that switch and just jumped there and stuck his hand in. Big man from Istanbul, Turkey, is used to guarding bigs on the perimeter. At that time, just got a little beside himself and a little too aggressive.
So Copeland 3 at the line, knocks down the first. A reminder, Friday night, I'm calling this Freshman Phenoms Friday. You can check out Cam Boozer and Duke. And then it is Caleb Wilson in North Carolina, our ACC network doubleheader.
How about a start for those guys, huh?
But Carolina getting that huge win against Kansas. Not just a huge win for Carolina, but a huge win for the ACC as a whole.
Absolutely. ACC's off to a really good start. 35-1 to start the season heading into tonight. And I think that's a big win for the league. I think everybody knows the ACC will be back this year. I think they'll more than double the amount of teams, or nearly double the amount of teams in the NCAA tournament this coming year. But all the conversations about how good the ACC is or isn't, Carolina stamped that with a really impressive win against Jayhawks.
Henderson, easy knockdown for him. He's showing off the mid-range game. And Miami picked number 8 in the ACC preseason poll. If that's any indication, this team has a lot of talent. So if they're going to be 8th, that means there's going to be a lot of teams making the NCAA tournament from this conference. Going a little too quick there. Washington gives it right back.
It's a good chance to watch this group right now. They're without 2 of their leaders. And Tre Donaldson and Malik Reneau right now. Let's see where the offense comes from if the Hatters don't turn the basketball over.
Jump ball, possession arrow stays with Stetson.
just slips right there. Got to clean that spot up.
Stetson yet to make a field goal in the last 6 minutes in 44 seconds. 0 for their last 6. You put 4 turnovers in the mix during that stretch, and it's led to Miami gaining control of this first half with 5 minutes left in it. Much needed 3. The iron very kind there for Stetson. That is the Hatters' 6th made 3 of this first half.
Freshman there, Leonard steps into one. Really excited about him and his ability to knock down threes.
Wide open look. Miami, the immediate answer from deep. True Washington delivers.
Knocks down his second 3. And he's the one guy I know can make enough threes to beat you. You got to find him in that zone.
Leonard from the same spot. This time rattles in and out, no good.
The one thing the Canes are not doing a great job of, they're not communicating in the ball screen action.
Stripped away. Copeland gets the steal and the 2. Ethan Copeland picking the pocket of Donaldson.
Copeland there with the first 2-point field goal there by the Hatters.
Good shake. How about that? Shelton Henderson, the freshman, showing off. Support, let me know what I can do to help. And in turn, Lucas said, I hope that you're going to still be a big part of this program. And Larinaga has been to all 3 games to start this season, sitting courtside, just the other side of the court.
Yeah, I talked to Coach L before, and I asked him how is he doing, how's he enjoying retirement. He says, Randolph, I hadn't lost a game. So.
Well, you know what that's like.
I hadn't lost one since I've been sitting next to you, and I don't plan on losing anymore.
Henderson in perfect position for the follow flush in Miami. They started this game just 5 of 15 from the floor, since 12 of 14.
You can see the physicality. They're overwhelming Stetson and their just overall strength. Getting wherever they want on a dribble.
And that's the positional size coming into play that first-year head coach Jay Lucas was saying, look, you're number 1. You've got to win quickly. You've got to put something out there that people want to see, create the excitement by winning. And we said, well, what was the number 1 thing that you needed to produce winning? And he felt like it was go get size, length at every single position. Just not the big men, but we need big guards as well.
And he did. He got some experience, guys. And, I mean, you look at his freshmen. We talked about Henderson. He's coming out of the game, and there's not many freshmen that are built like that.
You're going from a freshman, 6'6", 240 pounds, Shelton Henderson, who's built like a football player, to Timo Milovic, who's a 6'8" freshman guard.
And they're all versatile. Both can run point. Initiate offense for your group. They're versatile defenders. The only thing I've seen right now with Miami is they got to do a better job of communicating.
A good ball movement by Stetson. Easy lay-in.
And that's communicating defensively in the switches that time. It's not a good job of guarding the basketball there.
Good ball movement on the other end, and an easy 3. That's good basketball on both ends of the floor. Milovic, the freshman from Slovakia, cashes in.
Milovic with his release point at 6'8" already and shoots that high arcing shot.
Phillips trying to spin his way free, dumps it off for Cool. That time rolls off the rim. He was looking for back-to-back baskets. Stetson wins it back. A deep contested 3. This is the track meet that Miami wants to play at, and that's why they'll make you pay in transition.
That's the way they have to play, but they know you've got to tighten up on some of these long passes and outlet passes. They're trying to play too fast, and I thought it got him in trouble early. Allowed Stetson to get a lead. Now they're seeming to lock down defensively, trying to pull away.
Yeah, just wearing Stetson down over the course of this first half, but the threes keep falling. That is a deep 3 from Jamie Phillips, the sophomore, showing some range. That is 7 made threes for Stetson in this first half.
That was a deep one, showing you his range and showing you why he's first team All-Sun.
Donaldson follows his own miss and draws the foul.
Phillips is like, hey, I'm an all-league defender in the A-Sun. I'm supposed to get that call, ref. Give me that call.
You know, Randolph, for as slow as Miami started this game with Donaldson not in the starting lineup, they are well above pace here if they want to continue their 94 points per game. They well on their way.
When you defend the way they do and you get out in transition, you can flip a game like they did so fast here. They struggled early, and now they're starting to rotate guys. Coach Lucas said he's comfortable going 9 deep. He's rotating his guys here early and trying different lineups. And
they've got great balanced scoring tonight. 4 players already in double figures. Donaldson's one of them.
That'll be the way they play all year long. I mean, Malik Reneau has to be the guy that's leading it, and I think he will. But after that, I think it'll be by committee.
Another deep three, this time off the mark from Phillips.
They're a really good passing team. Everybody just shares the basketball.
Right on cue, alley-oop. Uday throws it down, and Miami puts up 50 in this first half.
Uday knows if he can just set screens and roll to the rim, he knows he's going to get the pass.
So you say Miami's been sharing the ball well. That's kind of been their thing this season. Last game, 6 Miami players had 3 or more assists in the same game. First time in program history that has happened. They're sharing the ball freely again. Add another assist. Reneau, the easy finish on the inside.
And you're wondering why Malik Reneau can get the ball so much. Is Uday's doing a great job of just sealing the center against the zone, and Malik Reneau is just cutting in behind and getting the basketball wherever he wants, and just catching it in rhythm and finishing it right at the rim.
Shot clock ticks down to 8. Phillips, he'll get 2 at the line. He's been trying to play a little hero ball the last few possessions for Stetson. You feel bad for the Hatters, who the score doesn't show how well they played the first 12 minutes of this game.
They have. They just had a 5-minute stretch there for their inability to get a quality shot up. They started knocking down threes early, and I think they spent about 5 minutes of the game spending too much time outside of 3, and when they missed those shots, Miami took advantage of it.
Yeah, Miami, 15-0 run in less than 3 minutes, just turned this game away from Stetson to the home team Hurricanes.
And they're showing you they have that ability, but it's going to come from them on the defensive end of the floor, and when they're knocking down shots, then look out, they can beat anybody. But they're going to have to continue to, with their physicality on the defensive end of the floor now, as the Hatters are extending their pressure. Going to go to a 2-2-1 fall back to the 2-3. Try to limit the amount of time Miami has to attack them in the half court.
Well, Miami can hold this for the final shot of the first half with a 52-36 lead. Shot clock is off. Donaldson knows it. 8 seconds to work with until halftime. Deep 3, Dante Allen drains it. What a finish to the first half. Miami,
I think the only question mark for this team, it's going to be how well they can shoot the 3-point line. That's it. But they're not built to do that. They're built to control the paint, and that's what they've done early and often this season, and they're going to have a big test coming up against that Florida front line.
Yeah, that Florida game so critical for Miami, coming up on November 16th, just 6 nights from tonight. They go right back to Reneau, and why wouldn't you? He was the spark when Miami trailed 20-15. Reneau went on an individual 8-0 run to put Miami on top, and they have not looked back.
They make it so difficult to zone with so much movement. It doesn't matter if it's man or zone. They're moving so much, and they're cutting guys in behind the zone. And Malik Reneau is just getting the ball wherever he wants. And just once he gets it around that ACC line, I mean, there's just not a whole lot you can do with it.
Now, obviously, first-year head coach Jay Lucas won't be happy with the first 10 minutes when they went down by 6, but is it encouraging? This is a new group that you've formed, first-year head coach. All these guys are coming in, either transfers or freshmen, and they've shown, okay, we don't just need to take the lead early. We can come from behind, take a punch back, and certainly since Donaldson's been on the floor, who didn't start this game, they look like the team they were in the first 2 games.
Was a little disappointing. It gives them enough just to keep the attention of this group.
Right.
Hey, guys, we got to defend for 40 minutes. You come out slacking like you did to start this game, anybody could beat you.
And the threes, that was a good look, but nothing but air from Copeland. That was the bugaboo for Miami in the first half. They allowed 7 of them. Copeland saying there was a touch. Well, Stetson head coach Donnie Jones is going to use a coach's challenge here. New rule in college basketball, and A.J. Desai, the official, just went right to Jones. All right, new rule in college basketball, coach's challenge, and this one by Donnie Jones and Stetson. Successful. Call was overturned. Now you do see Donaldson get a piece of the ball. Our thought, Randolph, was even though he gets the ball there, Copeland's follow-through still the last to touch it.
That's what it looked like, but Clarence Armstrong disagreed with you and I. We got that wrong.
So 8 seconds on the shot clock after the successful coach's challenge. And they nearly just turned it over anyway. Shot clock ticks down to 5. And Donnie Jones is saying it should be a reset, but I don't think Donaldson ever had possession of that ball, so it'll stay at 5 seconds to shoot. And Stetson's got to go full court here. Phillips heaves it from the logo. And all the threes that were falling for Stetson early in this game, they hit 7 of them in the first half, have turned into misses.
That's a great job on the defensive end by Miami. They're doing the old Florida State zone up, denial on the baseline out of bounds, and most teams just go back at half court. They do a great job of kind of messing up any plays you have, and most teams just will throw it back. And unfortunately for the Hatters, they threw it out of bounds.
And Malik Reneau continues to feast on the inside. What a start to the season Reneau has had. And now Henderson, he's in attack mode, stripped. Calvin Sermons the third, leads to a transition 3. Phillips can't hit it. And a foul on the rebound. They're gonna get Ernest Uday colliding in on Matar Jope.
Yeah, Henderson on that previous possession, he's gotta give that up early. I thought he had Tre Donaldson up ahead and took one extra dribble, and that time it cost him a turnover.
Once again, a risky pass. Donaldson, like a safety on the football field, read it well. Got a piece of it. It'll stay Stetson ball, but again, they're gonna have to go full court here.
I think it's a turnover.
Well, that was clearly off Donaldson last,
yeah.
right? Yeah, no, it's gonna say Stetson ball.
Yeah, I actually, from the original play, I thought it was off the Hatters.
Stetson has just made 2 of their last 10 threes. That's what was working when they had a 6-point lead. Miami's defense has ratcheted up a notch. That time, the Hatters beat the shot clock as it was about to buzz. Jope throws it down.
That play just gives Miami a little bit more to talk about, Coach. Regardless of the score of the game, their communication on their switching, that's a late clock situation. There was supposed to be a switch. There wasn't. They gave up a dunk. And they've made that mistake a few times here tonight.
Washington fouled shooting 3. And you're right, Randolph. Look, you've had the scout right as an assistant coach, and you're trying to get your team's attention ahead of Florida, the reigning national champs. And those are the things you break down. Sure, they won't cost you against Stetson, but if you do that 6 days from tonight against Florida, it's going to result in a loss.
Yeah, they've had quite a few breakdowns, not a lot of communication going on, and that's the only thing they've done wrong. They've done a great job of guarding the basketball and help when needed, but late clock situation, you're expecting to switch and put a body on a body, and that time Choke rolled right down to the front of the rim, and weak side guys not expecting anybody to be alone there and kind of lets him go and lets him get the easy dunk. But got to clean those things up.
A couple of substitutions here for Miami. One thing Jay Lucas may want to see in this second half is his depth step up. You mentioned you're really impressed with the starting five of Donaldson, Washington, Reneau, Henderson, and Uday, but does Miami have the depth to compete at the highest level? That's still a question mark.
Yes, that's going to be ultimately decide their ceiling, right? It's where did the scoring come from when Malik Reneau struggles offensively, or Tre Donaldson doesn't have it going that night. Is it, is it Allen? Which Allen? Is it Dante? Is it Marcus? Which guy steps up?
Foul called on the floor. And that's what the early season is for, right? Answering those questions, particularly for a first-year head coach that's brought in a whole new roster. It feels like every college basketball team's turning over their roster, but Miami truly turned it over top to bottom.
But a lot of guys home, back to the state of Florida. A couple of guys from Miami as well. And
well, that's what attracted Lucas to the job. We were talking with him earlier. He was a big recruiter of the Boozer twins, who were from about 5 miles from here. And he said, there's a lot of talent right here. So when the Miami job opened up, it was one that Lucas said, you can win there by keeping kids home and bringing transfers back. And that's exactly the blueprint so far. Hard foul, Phillips. He'll get 2.
Phillips really been impressive. His ability to put the ball on the floor, and again, the physicality of his game does not bother him. He's attacking the rim, showing you the range of the three-point shot. He's gotten off to a hot start as well, averaging 21 points a game earlier in the season.
And he's a player who's preseason A-Sun, first teamer. If they get the production from Phillips and they're expecting, Stetson will absolutely be in the conversation at the top of the A-Sun. A league they won a few years ago and made the NCAA tournament under head coach Donnie Jones.
And he's got a relatively new group of guys he's trying to put together, and he talked about his inability to be able to retain guys, which is pretty common at every level of college basketball right now.
Well, even Donaldson, who's got the ball here, started all 37 games for Michigan last season, 2 years at Auburn before that. That's Dante Allen through traffic. He'll get 2 at the line. Allen, another local product here at Miami. His father, Malik Allen, played in the NBA from 2001 to 2011, now an assistant coach for the Heat right down the road.
Was committed to Villanova early, and when the coaching change happened, his recruitment opened up, and no one's happier about that than Jay Lucas.
And that's where Dad played. Malik Allen, a Villanova graduate in 2000. And we're just talking about that bench. Dante Allen feels like the key piece.
He is. He's another highly recruited kid, and comes in and just physically ready to play, knows how to play. He's knocking down shots. Look out, because he can get after you defensively and create plays like he did here.
Right on cue. Allen got it started for an easy lay-in with Donaldson. When Miami is at their best, Randolph, it seems like they're turning defense into offense.
They want to. They can play that way. They can switch like here.
Here it is again. Reneau, count it, plus the foul. Malik Reneau in a reborn Miami team. He's the face of it.
This is what the mistakes they were making early. They switched on the ball screen. That's textbook. You want to get up into the basketball and on the switch. One of the adjustments Miami made at halftime, and Malik Reneau was just on the staff. He's assembled here, and I think it's one of the reasons why everyone is watching and everyone that knows the landscape of college athletics is really happy to see the U and what they've done, and really excited for the future of this Miami Hurricane program under Jay Lucas.
And Lucas has been a part of big staffs at Texas, Kentucky, and most recently Duke. And so he knows the importance of getting the right group together. And everybody's got to have a different strength. But as a collective whole, he feels like he's built the right crew to turn this thing around quickly. I said, look, you could be this year's Louisville. He goes, I don't know if we're going to win 18 ACC games.
Yeah, he said
one,
easy, buddy. He's quick to quiet you down on that conversation. Like, wait a minute now.
Pat Kelsey and his staff have set a high bar for year one coaches of the ACC. Good ball movement up ahead. Usually Milovic will make you pay from there.
This is the next step here we talked about with Miami too. You get these leads up this much, and can you continue to put your foot on the gas as you go to your bench now? It's got quite a few guys here from the bench. The only starter out there now is Malik Reneau, and let's see if the bench guys can step up and can continue to put their foot on the pedal.
Inside, Reneau. He's delivered all night long.
With this lineup, Canes can switch if they want. They're choosing not to. Allow Malik Reneau to play the 5.
Up to 20 points tonight. So versatile between that 4 and 5. He's capable of both. Corner 3. Falls off the rim, no good. Stetson, after making 7 threes in the first half, still looking for their first of this second. The extra pass finds Dante Allen. He can't cash in. Offensive rebound, Marcus Allen, who got it stripped away.
They're always looking, when they get the ball in the low post, they're always looking to pass big inside, looking for the lob.
Stetson continuing to let it fly from 3, even though they have fallen ice cold in this second half.
They're just giving up on trying to score inside. The length is just bothering them. Too much size in the paint. They're just driving the pass. And when the threes are not there, they're struggling to get a look at the rim.
Yeah, worn down by this Miami defense. Next Sunday, right here on ACC Network, women's basketball doubleheader tips off 3 Eastern with Georgia Tech and Jacksonville, and then it is Florida State taking on Indiana, and what should be a good one in Tallahassee, both available on the all-new ESPN app.
It's another look at another new head coach there, and Coach Locke's down in Florida State. And
they're going to shoot a lot of threes.
A ton of threes. Complete opposite of these Hurricanes trying to control the paint. They're trying to space you and shoot it.
Yep, they are not shy. They are going to let it fly.
He's getting on his players for not shooting threes. That's the kind of coach I'd like to play for.
And here's what I'll say about those two programs. You're coming in after a disappointing season, but with the infrastructure so well in place. Yes, you're taking over, but really you look at what Coach Hamilton did at Florida State and what Coach Larrañaga's done here at Miami, and you have sustained success, and you're not walking in and going, oh no, I'm inheriting a disaster. You're inheriting programs that are very healthy.
And they've had recent success that you can draw upon, and 2 coaches, 2 Hall of Fame coaches by my estimation.
No doubt.
And I think in a short time we'll see that happen. But they're visibly around the programs, and there's so much experience that they're helping both young coaches out. Bright futures ahead in the state of Florida from ACC basketball.
Step back 3, no good from the freshman Sean Morgan. The misses keep piling up for Stetson in this second half. It's allowed Miami to completely separate. A 30-point lead for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, the Hatters now, they're gambling. You don't get a rebound, they've got to get back and set their defense. And
this is a Stetson team that 10 minutes into this game was leading 20-15, and Miami is just completely dominated from that point on.
They have a lot of confidence. Early, they knew they needed to knock down threes. They did. They forced a couple of turnovers and sped Miami up, and now Miami settled down and really starting to play their brand of basketball.
Another foul called. Altutas, the freshman from Turkey, doesn't like the call.
We got a chance to talk to him, and
yeah, he's a character, huh?
He is. He got a ton of personalities. He wants to play with a level of physicality. He doesn't mind throwing his body around.
Nothing has come easy offensively for Stetson. That turnaround can't find the bottom of the rim. And Miami is just so committed to turning a defensive stop into points. They get the ball up the floor so quickly.
You have to get back and corral the basketball. So many guys can attack you, they're advancing it up, and whoever gets it is putting their head down. They're driving right to the rim and forcing contact, forcing the officials to blow the whistle.
Now here's Henderson at the line, the freshman out of Texas. You know, 6'6", 240. Watching him at shoot around, you look and go, he's built like a football player.
He looks like Derrick Henry coming at you.
He does, and then somebody on the Miami staff said, well, his uncle is Eric Dickerson, Hall of Fame running back. Most single-season rushing yards in the history of the NFL with over 2,000. And you can see he's got that in him.
Hey, listen, he's built like that, and he's running over guys in the lane. He's not a guy you want to step in front of and take a charge, I can tell you that.
Well, then I asked, did he play football? And they said, no, he never liked football. Whenever the football coach at his high school walked his way, he turned around and went the other way in the hallway. Always loved hoops. A good idea there, but not quite the execution from Washington, trying to bounce it off a Stetson player, and ends up hitting him. Got the ricochet there.
Tre Washington did a really good job of trying to throw it off a defender. Ends up catching it, ball bouncing off himself.
Defensive intensity's been there for Miami, and that has been the difference in this game.
That's Uday's ability there. He knows his job is to anchor the defense. Did a really good job there, showing on a ball screen. They've done a really good job of cleaning that part of it up. A lot of mistakes early in not communicating on ball screens. They've seemed to have fixed that here in the second half when either the hedge guy or the switch has really been aggressive in forcing turnovers, getting up into the basketball.
Already 8 fouls for Stetson in this second half, so Miami shooting the rest of the way. Front end of the 1-and-1 drained by Marcus Allen. Another one of these Miami natives that have returned home via the transfer portal after his freshman season at Mizzou.
Kind of fit. You can see Charleston Young, see why.
And there's the own goal if this was a soccer game. Janusz Rotowski went up for the rebound, and it resulted in another 2 points for Miami.
Yeah, I think a little bit of the European ball's alive on the rim. He didn't let that come off. And former Texas A&M redshirt freshman is just dropped in 2 for the other team.
Miami hasn't needed any help on the offensive end, but they got it here on the rebound. Whoops.
Yeah, he does a great job of trying to high point it, and who gets credit for the bucket is the question.
Again, if this were a European soccer match, Rotowski would get the 2 just for Miami. Good ball movement. Didn't lead to a made 3, but Miami shares the ball very well.
Good open shot there. Henderson with another baseline look there, and that's the key for him. Can he knock down that 3?
Rotowski this time on the right rim. Talk about Miami sharing the ball well. 20 assists tonight, just 1 shy of their season average.
What you see tonight is how they'll play throughout the year. It doesn't matter the opponent. They may not be able to dominate everyone on the glass, but they control the paint. That's how they want to play.
Yeah, it started with strong defense, and then on the offensive Side of the ball, a slow start, but they've really found their rhythm. A 77-44 lead here for the Hurricanes in the second half. Over the weekend, so it is chaos in the ACC. You take a look at the college football playoff top 12.
And you got to add, Wake Forest is an all sides being called away from being 7-2.
Oh, of course you got to bring up your deets.
Just bringing an honest opinion. I mean, to be two ranked teams, I mean, they would at least get votes for the top 25 with that resume.
No
7-2 right now.
Yeah, with wins against Georgia Tech and Virginia, they would be in the top 25. And I think the conversation there is a first-year head coach, just like we've seen college basketball teams do. You can turn it around
quickly.
Year one.
Nick Dicker's done a great job in his first year.
There's no need to go, okay, give me a couple recruiting classes, give me till year 3 or year 4. You know, Jay Lucas said you're expected to win year 1.
He is. He understands that. I mean, you have to show everybody what your program is going to look like, and he's shown you that. With his ability to recruit, he's shown you he can get 5-star recruits coming in, and the university is offering a lot of support and renovations and everything within this program, and got to be really excited about what you see in the landscape in the future. These guys are playing really hard for him too. He's got everybody dialed in, guarding, they're defending, they're sharing the basketball. They may not make shots every night, but they're going to compete, they're going to defend, they're going to share the basketball every night.
And that's easier said than done with a new group.
Absolutely.
Is to get them to buy in and be very unselfish. You know, Malik Reneau, he's been the most consistent scorer. He scored 20 points in all 3 games this season, but outside of him, just really balanced across the board.
That's the way it has to be. All 5 starters averaging double figures. Again, once they get into the season and these guys get foul trouble and if the depth gets tested, we're really going to see what the ceiling is for the Miami Hurricanes.
Transition triple off the mark. Yeah, I think the Florida game is really going to give you an indicator. Going against the reigning national champions, the feel-good factor has returned to this program. You've created excitement by winning in dominant fashion in these first 3 games with Sunday against number 3 Florida, national champs a year ago. That's going to tell you if this Miami team is going to be in the elite conversation or if they're just going to be an upper half ACC team.
Well, you don't want to put too much into one game, but it gives you a marker to see where you are against that Florida game. Your style of play, can you be a bully to the bully? And that's what Florida U did last year to win a national championship, and hadn't much changed. They're even bigger this year than they were a year ago.
So you're kind of in a no-lose situation, right? No one's going to expect you to win that game, but if you win it, whoo, the expectations will go sky high here in year 1. Foul called. Henderson, he's not afraid to put his head down and go to work.
He's expecting that to be a foul. The physicality there, just puts his shoulder down, and he lifts that right arm just a little bit. Had he not did that, I think he'd shoot 2 free throws.
It didn't seem like Stetson was set, but when you do the push off,
you extend that arm, it's almost automatic. When you're up 35, you tend to not get all the calls as well. Let's just put that in play.
A 35-point game, you wouldn't know it the way Dante Allen's playing defense. He's been relentless all night.
That's just the way they play. Up 35, and he's pressuring the basketball. You're a freshman, and you want to get on the floor? That's how you get on the floor. Taking pride in guarding the basketball. Forcing a 10 seconds count. They do a really good job of just getting that basketball in the middle of the zone, and got to keep the ball out of the middle of the zone. It just opens up too much. It's so difficult to stop anyone. The ball gets there, and Miami's done a great job of just penetrating that zone and getting it in the middle and just destroying this Hatters defense.
You go back to the conversation we were having about Florida, not just as big for Miami, but the ACC, because we saw last year if you don't deliver in non-conference play, it negatively affects you. Well, the ACC has delivered and then some. If they can keep that rolling into mid-December, you can't deny that they are going to get a lot of teams into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think I'd be really surprised if they're not, 7 or 8 teams at least in the ACC tournament. I mean, in the NCAA tournament from the ACC. I think the league is that much better than it's been in the last couple of years, and you're looking at a team that'll be fighting for one of those spots here. If they can get some consistent three-point shooting, you can all but book your ticket. But they're going to defend and be physical and put a lot of pressure on teams in this league.
It's incredible. You mentioned the three-point shooting. They've only made 5 threes in this game, and they've got 80 points. How are they able to put so many points on the board despite not really taking and making a lot of threes?
Because they have multiple guys that can put the ball on the deck and do that.
That'll help. Look out! The freshman, Henderson. He's got 17. Those are the flashiest 2.
They got multiple guys that can attack you off the bounce and make plays, just like that. I mean, Malik Reneau gets the ball in the high post. He's a playmaker. He's a scorer. And here he's looking, and guys just know if I cut out, someone on this team will find me. They're sharing the basketball at a high level. They don't have to shoot threes great when they're built on controlling the paint and attacking the rim. And they put so much pressure on you to foul, they're either getting to the free throw line or they're making point-blank layups or even dunks like that.
46 points in the paint for Miami. Who needs threes when you got that, right?
No, you don't have to. This team is built off toughness. It's a big part of that. All the three-point shooting and all those things will come in time. Right now, this is his first year. He wanted everyone to know what Miami was going to look like and what he's going to build this program on, and his defense and toughness. And that's what you're seeing. And toughness is controlling the paint.
Yeah, that physicality has just worn Stetson down tonight. I think it's going to wear a lot of teams down.
And they got length. I mean, a lot of length here. I mean, this is a big, we talked about it last year. I thought Duke did a great job a year ago with that, and he talked to us about that. Like, hey, the length and the way the game is being played right now, and you've heard it even on the NBA level, they're getting away from a lot of small ball stuff, and they'll play those small ball lineups in phases, but the majority of this team, they're just really, really big and playing with an old school traditional 4 and 5 and controlling the paint. They feel like if they take the right shots, the threes will fall.
But one thing you can't question when you look at this Miami roster is the talent. Jay Lucas has just brought so much talent here to year 1. It's on full display. Marcus Allen getting in on the act.
One thing the Hatters got to be disappointed in is their transition defense. That was a big emphasis coming into this game, and
well, the first 10 minutes it was there. You were saying they were packing the lane, making life difficult. Remember, 10 minutes into this game, Stetson led 20-15, and then I just think the physicality wore them down. They couldn't quite get back. It turned into a track meet, and that's where Miami just became a runaway train.
Yeah, they stopped knocking down threes. And it took them quite a bit of time to even get a 2-point field goal. So when they started taking those same threes and missing them, now those are long rebounds that led to the transition baskets for Miami, and then the floodgates opened up from there.
Yeah, Stetson started this game 5 of 11 from 3, since just 2 of 12. With too many scoring droughts, and they get a bucket there, but Miami well in control with under 7 minutes left in this one.
All you want to do if you're Coach Jones is keep your guys confident. You want to leave this game healthy, and you're happy the check cleared.
Well, you know that check's clearing coming from Miami. And one opportunity. Uday round out that group. He couldn't say enough things about what those guys have meant to this program with their experience coming in, knowing the expectations. And he said, look, we're far, far from perfect. But those 3 guys have given us a head start because of their commitment and their buy-in to this program.
And they're just showing you everything that he wants done. I mean, the way he wants his program to look, those guys have come in, they bought in, they've hit the switch here. He was worried over the summer a little bit about how quickly things would come together. When those 3 guys decided to come in and they were all bought in, it made it easy for everyone else to fall into place. And they're unselfish, they're sharing the basketball. There's a connection among this group, and it's why you're so excited about the future in this season with this team.
Lob to the rim, and Uday was there waiting for it.
The thing I love about it is that regardless of the score, there's no let up. I mean, they're not playing for the score. They're still pressuring the basketball, still active defensively. They're not dropping back in the zone. This is just their identity right now and how they're playing. Another turnover.
And how do you create that? Because every coach craves it, but Miami clearly hasn't.
You can tell it's every day in practice, but again, when you try to run a 9 or 10 deep guys and this style of play, you've got to be able to do it. And right now, he's building these guys to play for 40 minutes. You know, he's not going to back off because they're up, because they're going to be tested. You're not going to beat Florida by 35 points. They got BYU. There's so many other games coming up. These guys, look at this, running out the ball 60 feet down the floor.
Right on cue. And you would never know the score of this game looking at that hustle play by Tre Donaldson.
It's just day by day, practice by practice, you start building habits, and it's taking them this long to build this. You've built this type of expectations over the course of the summer and the early part of the season here, and it's carried over into the season.
True Washington goes down, called for a travel. And Washington, the unsung guy, I think, comes in from New Mexico, lockdown defender.
Yes.
And yeah, that is a travel.
I thought he got hit as well right before that step, the pivot foot was lifted. And talk about True Washington again, and his ability to knock down shots consistently will be critical for this group. He's the one guy, I think he's the best shooter in the starting lineup. It's another wing, a really good wing defender.
Well, you couldn't have scripted a much better start to the Jay Lucas era than this one. You beat Jacksonville in your opener, then you take down Bethune-Cookman by 40, a Bethune-Cookman team that took Auburn to overtime earlier in the week, and now you fall down early in this game. The Stetson trailed by 6, only scored 15 points in the opening 10 minutes, and scoring has not been a problem since. Miami up to 92 after that dunk.
TV doesn't do these guys justice. They're getting from one end of the floor to the other as quickly as anyone as they get another opportunity here.
Yeah, it is 1 or 2 passes to get the ball from defense to offense. And after a stop, Miami is just so difficult to contain in transition.
Well, with their starting lineup, and even in their bench, there's only 2 guys that really can't rebound and push. So they got multiple guys that can handle the basketball, initiate the break. And so if you don't get the rebound, you're just running. And they're looking to pitch ahead and attack you in transition. And
well, Miami started to separate at the end of the first half, and now a 40-point lead with a little more than 4 minutes and change remaining.
Freshman J.R. Leonard there puts his head down and drives to the rim. There just hadn't been a ton of opportunities at the rim.
No, the points of the paint so lopsided in this matchup, and that's going to happen when, we said it from tip-off, Miami has such a clear size advantage. But 56 points in the paint to 18.
Yeah.
That tells the story.
And if Miami's going to be successful this year, it won't be to that extent. But they got to control the paint. That's just what they're built to do, is control the paint on both ends of the floor. And they've been able to overwhelm opponents here early in the season. And again, they'll get a big test coming up.
And where do you see Miami fitting into the ACC? They were preseason number 8. If that's the over-under, do you have them?
I think they're right there. This team will be, if they're healthy, will be fighting for an NCAA tournament bid. I think everyone will agree that Duke is really talented at Carolina now, but Seth Trimble's injured there. You know, there's that. When does he come back? NC State has looked good so far early in the year. Got so many other teams we have not seen yet, but I think Virginia will be another good team, and SMU, so many really quality squads. Syracuse,
Well, the whole league's off to a strong start, and that has continued on a Monday night. Miami under 4 minutes. Now Shelton, Henderson here, Randolph, and this Miami team, Dante Allen as well.
I think it's a special year of freshmen, and you're going to see a lot of them. You've seen a few early on display. Seen Shelton Henderson. You got Mikael Brown for Louisville. You got Jalen Harrelson to Notre Dame. I mean, just a ton of guys. Kyan Anthony coming off the bench, who I think are really talented Syracuse group. So many freshmen. As you see Henderson there, and the competition will start ramping up, and they'll start getting a true test. And these guys have been really special here early in the year.
Well, talent acquisition has never been a problem for Jay Lucas as an assistant, and that has not changed as a head coach. But it's not just here in Miami. It really is, like you said, Randolph, across the ACC. Paul Biancardi, our recruiting guru at ESPN, said this is the best freshman class he's seen in a couple of decades. And I kind of joked with him, Paul, you said that last year, but it's two really, really good back-to-back classes. And I think the difference is last year that talent went away from the ACC, and this year the ACC has got it.
It has, and I think it's balanced throughout the league. I mean, last year everything was the Duke freshmen, and right. Duke will always have those freshmen. But now everyone else has seemed to pick up some really talented guys, and you've seen Caleb Wilson with a performance that's probably ACC Player of the Week worthy, not just Freshman of the Week worthy.
Well, Lucas was part of bringing all that talent to Durham in the 3 years he served as associate head coach for John Shire. As Milovic knocks down another, Miami up to 98 points on the night.
Well, let's not forget the Hokies got a freshman up there that had an outstanding performance against Providence. If you hadn't seen him yet, I mean, just a lot of new faces and a lot of great talented freshmen in the ACC. A lot of the storylines in years past are what they are. They're in the past.
Well, Miami's offense will get the headlines once again, but it's their defense that really dialed in this game. As impressive as it is that they've scored 98, holding Stetson to 53 after they shot and made 7 threes in the first half has been very impressive.
Yeah, they've locked in defensively against this group, and I think the best thing is that even though it's a foul called, you've got a freshman in the island still stand in front of the basketball. They've been able to guard the basketball and not foul. That's really been impressive. They're really making you guard your yard. They're not relying on as much help. They're leaving defenders one-on-one, and more times than not, they're winning those one-on-one matchups. And this is the culture. I mean, again, they're up 30, 35, and they're still playing as if this is the first 2 minutes of the game.
And that is how you set that culture.
Yes, it's demanding, and
that's the buzzword, right? Every coach uses it, but you're seeing it in the first 3 games, the relentlessness in which Miami plays.
It's their calling card. It's their identity.
The points are one thing, but I think the defensive end has been equally impressive. I mean, this isn't just a one-game sample size, too. You've now seen it for 3 games. And look, the step up will be Sunday night against Florida, but look at that production.
And you're getting that, and more importantly, what we do know about Miami is that they're going to play a style that's going to junk the game up. But what we do know is that when they get in these close games in the ACC, they have a closer in Tre Donaldson that's hit game winners, and that you can put the ball into his hands, close the game out at the free throw line. And this team is a dangerous team that you don't want to be in a one-possession game against.
Milovic wears that one. He's hit 4 threes. The freshman from Slovakia started the game tonight in place of Donaldson. And 4 made threes for him. He's another one of these X factors for the Hurricanes, who could come off the bench and provide a critical role.
And if they can rely on him to be a consistent three-point shooter, with already having True Washington doing there with his length, it's just another added weapon.
A rare offensive rebound, and Stetson cashes in on it.
And the same thing with the Hatters. They're continuing to play. They're battling now. They're starting to drive. They're not settling as much early. I think sometimes knocking down threes can be a negative, and they started settling, and that got them in trouble once they started missing. Now they're making more of a conscious effort to get to the rim.
Our ACC Network doubleheader continues from Atlanta. Georgia Tech taking on Southeastern Louisiana. Looking forward to that one in a matter of moments. Allen trying to spin his way in, deflected out of bounds. What do you think of Georgia Tech this season, Randolph, as we get ready for the Yellow Jackets to be the nightcap of our Monday night doubleheader?
I think Baidongo is one of the most difficult matchups in this league. He'll have to step up and play at a all-conference type level. He needs to make a jump like the Malik Reneau jump we're seeing right now. I think he has that type of ability, and if he does, look out, we'll be talking about the Yellow Jackets.
Well, early in the season, you just don't know who is going to make that jump.
Right.
I think it's a huge testament to Georgia Tech that they retained Dongo, because you know his phone must have been lighting up with what he has done in his career so far. And player retention is such a critical part of college basketball now.
It is, and you got to be able to, recruit, then develop really good players, and then you got to be able to retain them. And
it's never been harder.
No, it's never been harder. And Damon Stoudemire, and it happens at every level. I don't care if you're a low low Division I mid-major or even a high major. It's, his starting point guard is at Georgia Tech is now the starting point guard for the Orange in Syracuse. So that's just the nature of the business.
Aren't you happy you're sitting here next to me
so
rather
happy.
than worrying about all that?
I'm like Coach L, baby. I'm undefeated. I hadn't lost one. Yeah, they're still competing. I mean, everyone that comes into the game knows.
There's Coach L. You just referenced him.
And Coach L was an offensive guy now. You can play a little defense, but he like his guys to put it in the hole.
He's happy with the Miami team that's averaging over 90 points per game to start the season. I think it's great that he's
amazing
around the program still, because sometimes when you get a coaching transition, it's not like that, and that's a testament to Coach Allen.
It is.
Coach Jay Lucas.
Just two great guys.
That handoff has been seamless, and he's hoping that they can hang more banners like the one he helped hang in 2023 when they went to the Final Four, a magical run that, again, not too long ago, right?
No,
the blueprint is there for Jay Lucas, and the talent is here, most importantly, and that's what Coach Lucas was preaching to us earlier today is South Florida, this is a fertile recruiting ground. You won't have to go far to land some top-level talent that can make runs in the ACC and the NCAA tournament.
He made it clear. He's trying to win the state. He's trying to tell these guys, hey, you can come home. And if you're a recruit out there, you got to like what you see. Everyone touches the basketball. Everyone shares it. Everyone's productive. Get to showcase your full offensive skill set, and the only thing he's demanding out of you is you got to be able to defend. It's a fair trade-off. One thing they hadn't seen a lot of is man-to-man defense, though. Be an adjustment for them coming up against Florida, who will play a ton of man, all man.
Well, it's fitting that the final possession is more good ball movement, because Miami had 28 assists and a convincing win against Stetson. 102-61 the final as the Jay Lucas era continues. First back-to-back